Okay, I'm going to do some tips about buying vintage vintage receivers or amplifiers today. A receiver is a radio amplifier, and by vintage I mean basically the 70s, early 80s, late 60s. I mean this is 74, 75, that's about 79. Sansui, Marantz, and a younger Sansui, more modern Sansui we have here. Myself, I'm basically a hi-fi buff. I have done endless experiments with hi-fi. I've hung turntables from the ceiling, I've put concrete on the bottom, I've changed the wadding in the speakers, I've endlessly played around with cables, and I've bought tons of amps on eBay and stuff like that. So I know a few things about what to do, what to look for when you're buying things, and also, you know, what sounds good, you know, which is the whole point of the whole thing. And without spending a lot of money, you know, this amp was 45 quid. It's actually almost my favourite amp. This is like 150, this I think was about 100. And they all sound great. I've been through a lot of amps, so I know what sounds good. Okay, so let's imagine you want to buy something like this. You're probably going to be on eBay, Gumtree, something like that. Now, ideally you want to go in person, but you know that might not always be possible. So if you're buying stuff on eBay, there's a few things to watch out for. A couple of things. Firstly, if you're reading in the description box and it says something like, I powered this up this morning and it sounds great, or you know, sounds lovely, stuff like that. Those are not categoric descriptions of a machine that is working properly. Yeah, it's kind of vague. Sometimes those things are code for this isn't working properly, but I've got to say something. So watch out for that. I mean, you can ask them specific questions. Is this working properly? Say things like, do both channels work? You know, ask some specific questions if you can. But you know, miles better if you can go in person. And if you go in person, I'm just going to go through some processes to check it out. You know, things you can really easily miss if you know, you're not paying attention. You don't check the left and right channels. Okay, some of the major. First thing I would do is take with me my smartphone. I'd also take this lead so you can plug in, yeah? So that goes into your smartphone. Those are RCA plugs, also called phono plugs. They go into the back of this amp. And I would also have a couple of songs ready that I know, yeah? And don't have heavy metal songs or like crazily produced songs, because sometimes you can't hear distortion in really mad heavy metal. There can be distortion going on, you won't even notice it. So have some sort of songs that have guitars and pianos where you can hear those notes fading away, you know, and you can tell then if you've got distortion. Okay, so what you do is one end goes into your smartphone. Now, a smartphone on an old amp like this can go into aux, meaning auxiliary, can go into tuner, and it can go into CD if it's got CD input. But that's absolutely fine, so I'm going to plug this into aux. Okay, second, other thing you're going to need, I mean, these old amps, they have a big headphone socket, yeah, bigger headphone socket. So there's an adapter, so that's a normal headphone socket, and you've got this big adapter that goes on there. You can get those for a couple of quid on eBay, you know, or you can use the speakers, yeah. But that's what I would do anyway, because if you really want to check it out, it's good to have a pair of headphones. You know they're working and they're equal. So plug that in. Okay, so the problem we're going to look for, apart from just general things like distortion, is it working? A really common problem with old amps is one channel is down, yeah, the left or right channel is down. So basically, turn a song on, put your headphones on, a bit of volume, get to the balance, yeah, and send it full right, yeah, right over to the right, one channel. You should only hear sound in one ear. Give that like 10 seconds, and then full left. You should only hear sound in one ear. And those two channels want to be the same, yeah, not one much louder than the other. If one is, if there's a minor difference, you could probably live with that. But you might find with old amps that one channel is really way down, and you won't notice that if you just play it with the balance in the middle. You kind of won't notice it. So do that left and right, and also maybe do like turn the bass up, turn the treble right down, and do the same thing again. Full left, full right, and you'll also be able to hear if there's distortion going on. Okay. What else? Other things that you'll come across with old amps is scratchy volume pots, yeah? So when you turn this volume knob, you'll hear this sort of noise, and that will happen too with the balance, the treble and the bass, even some of these switches. And it's really common, and it's actually really easy to fix 90% of the time. You can fix that pretty damn easy with that stuff, deoxit. What happens is you get oxidization in the volume pot, basically rust. And you can watch this on YouTube, lots of people can show you. You're going to open this up and spray this into these volume pots, exercise them a bit, and most times you can get rid of all that scratchy stuff. And it's really easy. And I've had amps that sound absolutely appalling, and you'd think they were completely useless and hopeless. You think they're not working properly, scratching and the volume coming in and cutting out. You spend 10 minutes with deoxit, most times it's fine. Okay, what else? Other things to look out for is if you're buying something that's European, British amps, people like Sugden, Armstrong, Bang & Olufsen, Tandberg, I think, European stuff, you'll find the plugs on the back are a different plug. They're called DIN plugs, these round ones. And also the speakers don't have terminals to screw in, but they have this own 2-pin plug. But you know what, it's not a big deal. Just go on eBay and buy those plugs. If it's a nice amp, I'll definitely buy it. I'm not being put off by a plug. It's just a way of getting the signal in. It isn't a big deal. And sometimes those things go cheaper because people go, oh, what's that? But, it's just a way of connecting it. That's all it is. There's an interesting point about power. So, I think this is, say, 30 watts. Something has gone on in the way that watts are measured since the 70s to the present day, because you can get a 30 watt thing from the 70s will basically be as loud as a 50 watt thing today. And I don't know if that's their lie, they've found a way around statistics or what they're up to, but don't be thinking, say it says 25 watts or 30 watts, you might think that's weak. It's probably going to be a load more powerful than you think. What else? Yeah, well, that's probably about it. The other thing, I would say, if you're going around someone's house to listen and check something out, try not to be hassled, or take your time, basically. Take your time. Mess around with the volume, make sure everything's working properly. Don't let you pick the tracks that you're going to play. I wouldn't have the loudness button on. That's just a way of kind of making things sound momentarily better. Another interesting tip is, if you just kind of want to know, is this a good amp? A very basic thing. Listen to your song and press that mono switch if it's got a mono switch, and that change it from stereo to mono, and that will show you really how good the separation is on this amp. So if you've got a good amp, you'll press the mono and you go, oh God, that really is, you know, I can see that's no fun. Just the sound will be right in the centre. But if it's not a good amp, you might find you press the mono, there's hardly any difference because it hasn't got good separation. But I can tell you lots about what amps are good and what to buy. And you know, this amp, 45 quid, it's fantastic, you know. They were really trying to make amps sound good in those days. And as time progressed, it became more about marketing and statistics was why people bought things, and reviews in magazines. Whereas at that point in the early 70s, a lot of demonstrations going on in shops. So everything was, they were trying to make things sound good. I mean, not everything sounds good. I know what sounds good, but anyway, okay, that's about it. So be careful, don't be rushed, and you know, you can get some great bargains, you know, 40, 50, 100 quid, you get something that compares to 500 quid brand new. It could even sound better, I'm not kidding, could definitely even sound better. Okay, alright, bye for now.